Am I the a-hole for telling my dad he made a mistake by remarrying to give us a mom again? Hey, so this is a bit heavy and a little raw. I, 28M, recently had a pretty explosive argument with my dad that honestly blindsided me. We ended up fighting over something that's clearly been sitting under the surface for a long time. Now I'm just trying to figure out if I crossed a line or if I was just finally being honest about something he needed to hear. Let me start from the beginning. My mom passed away when I was 7. My little sister was only 3. It shattered our world. My dad tried to hold everything together, but I could see how lost and overwhelmed he was. He had just lost the love of his life, and suddenly he was a single dad trying to raise 2 grieving kids. About a year after her death, he started dating again. I didn't fully understand it at the time, but I remember feeling confused, even betrayed. Like, how could he be moving on already? 7 months after that, he married a woman we'll call Susan. He told us that she was going to be our new mom. I remember those words so clearly because even at 8 years old, they made me furious. I didn't want a new mom. I had one, even if she wasn't here anymore. I didn't need someone else stepping into her place. My sister was so little she barely knew what to make of it. She just went along with what the adults told her. But me? I couldn't pretend. I tried to be polite, but I never bonded with Susan. She wasn't warm. She wasn't maternal. And I could tell even back then that the marriage wasn't about love. It was about plugging a hole my dad thought was in our lives. They stayed together for years, longer than I ever thought they would, honestly, but eventually they split up about 9 years ago. The divorce was messy. High conflict. They share custody of their 2 kids together, but even now, they can barely be in the same room without tension. I hadn't really talked to my dad in depth about the marriage in years. We just didn't go there. Until recently. He came to me kind of out of the blue, clearly bothered. He said he'd had a conversation with his friend's wife, someone he's close to and really respects. Apparently, she told him she believed he married for all the wrong reasons the second time. That marrying Susan had been a mistake. He got really defensive with her, told her she was wrong, that he did it for us, me and my sister, that we needed a mother, and that he was trying to give us one. He told me that my sister didn't really say anything when he asked her how she felt. But then he turned to me and asked me to tell him that his friend's wife was wrong. That marrying Susan was the right thing. That he had given us what we needed. I paused. And then I told him the truth. I didn't think she was wrong. I told him that, in my eyes, it was a mistake. Because Susan was never our mom, no matter how much he wanted her to be. And we didn't need a new mom. We needed him. And he was enough. He didn't take it well. He asked me what 2 young kids were supposed to do without a mother. And I told him again, we had a father. A good one. Someone who was involved, who took care of us. We didn't need him to rush into a marriage with someone he didn't even love just to fill some imagined gap. He looked genuinely hurt. He told me he thought we had loved her. That we thrived with a mother figure in our lives. That maybe we didn't realize how much better off we were because of her. Then he brought up something from the past. How, toward the end of their marriage, Susan used to lash out. How she once told him that none of us ever gave a shit about her. That we never treated her like family. And then he asked point blank, "Is that what she meant? Were you really that cold toward her?" And I said, "Probably." I wasn't trying to be cruel. Just honest. I told him what I remembered. How I never felt close to her. How I never accepted her as a mom, because she wasn't one to me. I told him that she probably sensed that from the beginning, and that, yeah, over time, she probably grew resentful. But that wasn't my fault, or my sister's. And it definitely wasn't our responsibility to pretend to feel something we didn't. Then he got angry. He said I was disrespecting his choices, undermining his role as a father. That I didn't trust him to choose the right person to be part of our family. That by calling it a mistake, I was invalidating years of his life and trying to rewrite history.
And that's when I snapped.
I told him I wasn't disrespecting him. I was telling the truth. That maybe he needed to hear it, even if it hurt. That I do think it was a mistake to try and replace mom. That it didn't just fail because of her, it failed because the foundation was wrong to begin with. Because you can't assign someone the title of mom and expect it to stick. You can't fill grief with a wedding ring and expect everything to magically be okay. I told him I still respect him, that I love him, but that I also think he made a decision for himself more than for us. And now, he's looking back and trying to reframe it in a way that lets him feel better. He hasn't spoken to me since. Not really. Just short texts. I don't think he knows how to process what I said, or maybe he doesn't want to. My sister's been quiet. She told me she agrees with a lot of what I said, but she didn't have the strength to say it out loud like I did. She said it's probably for the best that we talk about it, but that dad might not be ready. So here I am, asking, am I the a-hole for telling my dad I think he made a mistake remarrying just to give us a mom again? Was I cruel for saying what I did? Was I too blunt? Or was it finally time someone told him the truth he's been running from for 20 years?